Greetings and welcome to another video. In this video today I'm going to be looking at some Amiga arcade ports that are really well done, but there's a couple of them I really can't stand, and the phrase nauseatingly cute was coined by my mate Lukozer, and in partly this video is inspired by a few of the reviews of his I've seen lately, because that boy really does not like a cute game. And you know, for the record and as a disclaimer, I'm not really a fan of cute games myself, although there are a couple of games in this that I really do like. So the Amiga was kind of plagued by cutesy games the further it went along. I wanted to stick more to arcade ports, so rather than being reviews, this is just another look at and comparing the graphics and the sound really. So we'll start off with the least cutesy of the games on today's list, and that is Pac-Mania, that came out in the arcade in '87 from Namco, and it's kind of a 3D update on Pac-Man. I mean, you all know what Pac-Man is. If you don't know what Pac-Man is, why the bloody hell are you watching this channel? Anyway, you get a choice of levels to start with, so we'll start on the easiest one. And they have cuted it up a bit. I mean, just with the big eyes on the ghosts and the jolly twee music. And I appear to have forgotten how to jump while doing the arcade part of this. It's very muted colours on this, but it has been cuted up. I mean, this looks like cute Pac-Man runs around Lego. But as it is, not a terrible game. It still plays quite well. I don't know what John Stoodley, the perfect Pac-Man guy, would make of this one. I should have asked him. But this is the next level. And again, it's all very twee. But at least this game isn't horrible. And the sound effects are still spot on pretty much to the original. I think personally I do prefer the original Pac-Man though. With the way it was laid out, you know, you had the whole screen presented to you. And that's how these guys worked out all the patterns and the ways to do the perfect Pac-Man. Yeah, Pac-Man sandwich. Alright, jumping over to the Amiga version. From the outset, it's got cutie ghosts. And they've kind of got that pretty on point. And it's the same, you know, you can choose your levels to start with. But what they've done with this one is, whereas the arcade was presented on a vertical monitor, they've actually filled the screen out on this one, so you've got more of a playing area. And if there was ever anyone to knock out the music and make it as bouncy as the arcade stuff, then Ben Daglish was a master at bouncy music. I didn't call him Bouncy Ben for nothing. And you can see on the Amiga version, the colours have been toned down, although they are less muted. And they've gone with less, and the game does play a bit slower, and to be honest, it's a lot easier on the Amiga. But it's a good port. Although it's not arcade perfect, it's still a nice version. Well, at least I've started this list off with a game that I like, that's an enjoyable game. There's literally no method to the way I'm playing this. I am just trying to go around and collect the pills up and basically complete a level. Well, at least I remembered to jump in this one, but I jumped straight onto another ghost. Nice work. I mean, how'd you get out of that? I'm going to do it again if I ain't careful. It would have been nice to have a few more colours, you know, on the level graphics. But as it stands, it's not too bad. And I actually managed to complete a level on this one. And you get one of the amusing cutscenes now. But I'm not a massive fan of the ghosts with their big cute eyes. I think if I was going to play this a lot today on the Amiga, I'd literally be loading it to listen to Ben Daglish's versions of the soundtrack. But it is a sharp looking game, especially on this level where there's a bit more colour in the backgrounds and that. Let's have a look at them together. You can see how much faster the arcade one is. But I think they've captured the essence of it on the Amiga. And you can see there the Amiga one come out in 1988 from Grand Slam. Right, this section's not going to be very long because I'm with Lukozer. This game is hatefully cute. I think the trouble with this game is I am quite a fan of Bubble Bobble. I really liked it in the day and I still like it now. And this is the story of Bubble Bobble 2. So at the end of Bubble Bobble you get turned back into a human. And that's the human you get turned back into, apparently. But what they did was they stripped out all the stuff that made Bubble Bobble fun, namely the two-player co-op game, because both the arcade version and the home ports, particularly on the 64, the ST and the Amiga, me and friends used to play it together and we used to play for hours. I mean, Bubble Bobble had 100 levels in it. And then this bloody thing, they got awful version of, oh, just an awful rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow that's probably got Judy Garland spinning in her grave. Horrible big-eyed twee graphics, and even though this game's got quite a large fan base, I just don't like it. There's not much more I can say than that without swearing a lot. I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, but I think this game's crap. Oh look, 2 rainbows, lucky me. Right, that's the best thing that can happen to Rainbow Ones. Well, that was out in the arcades in '87 from Taito. Then in 1989, Ocean decided to release it on the Amiga. Now, before I moan about this game at all, the one thing I will say, Andrew Braybrook and the team he had working on this, including Jason Page on the music, they absolutely nailed it. I mean, this is nigh on arcade perfect. I'm not going to detract away from the good job they've done, but they have just literally taken an arcade game which is horrible and cute and nauseating and rubbish, and they've one for one made it just as bad on the Amiga. So it's a almost 100% arcade perfect port, and maybe the music's not quite as twee and bad. I think he said Steve Turner did the music, which means Jason Page must have done all the sounds. Well, I mean, you can see it's as close as you're going to get to the arcade, but again, it's got all the bits from Bubble Bobble that are missing. You know, there's no 2-player co-op. I don't know how many levels there are. I know there's a few levels missing on the Amiga version, but to be honest, I didn't play it enough to get anywhere near it, and you can see from the way I'm playing this now, I'm crap at it. But for me, that's what this game deserves. To make this as nauseating as the arcade, you've got to give them credit for a job well done. Three rainbows now. Oh, that's a shame. So let's have a look at those together. And you can see, apart from a slightly different tone than the blue in the background. For a home port, they have got it nigh on perfect. I mean, obviously there's a slightly different frame rate, as there usually is. But they've made a good job of something rubbish. Talking of something rubbish, this is the other game in this list that, no matter how perfect they've made it, I can't stand it. That also doesn't look like any Kiwi I've ever seen either. I think Lukozer pointed that out when he reviewed the home version of this. That looks more like a chick that turns up at Easter. This is just not the sort of game I can get into. I can appreciate it for what it is. And there we go. I don't know what it is about a lot of cute games and picking up fruit and bits of cake and stuff like that. If anyone knows, perhaps you can let me know in the comments. I mean, you got a Kiwi disguised as an Easter chick chucking bombs at stuff, and then you get to pick up strawberries and bits of fruit. They don't seem to equate together. I do find this to be quite a dull platform game. It's not one that I was ever really excited to play at all. I mean, the Commodore 64 version of this was well done, and I didn't like that either. Andy? I'm trying to follow the arrows around the level. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It could make sense. I mean, you can go both ways there. I mean, but you can't touch them. It's a spike to the head. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So jumping across to the Amiga version, which come out in 1989 from Ocean. You'll see that, again, that I feel they've done a bang up job on this. You know, it's really, really well done. You know, they've even included the intro bit with the walrus, and the colours are slightly different, but it's all there. Unfortunately, what's all there is a game that's just, I don't know, it's like a game aimed at small children with the difficulty level. That really didn't go well. Who put a spike there? So this level's different to the arcade one. Yeah, I'm really showing this off well. But yeah, it's like a very childish game, but with a more adult difficulty level. I mean, I couldn't see many teenage boys, you know, 16, 17, 18-year-olds that would really want to play this. Now, I totally forgot that the first level's different on the Amiga. The annoying hurry-up's just as rapid though. I suppose this is like a tester level because that's really short. See now, round 1.2 in Auckland. Now this, I believe, is the same as the first level on the arcade. So a bit more familiar territory. Still got that annoyingly twee, cute, sweet music to it. But again, they've done a really good job at making this like the arcade. I don't know what New Zealand ever did to deserve this. And that's what a Kiwi looks like in that picture. Oh dear. Well, what a shame. Game over. I have played worse games, but I've played a lot better as well. So let's have a look at those side by side. I mean, apart from a couple of colouring differences here and there, I wouldn't say it was arcade perfect, but it's not far from it. They have taken the time to put the effort in to get it as close as the arcade as possible. Now it's going to come as probably a massive surprise that this game, Rodland, which was out in the arcade from Jellicoe in 1990, I actually like this game. This game is as cute as they come, but it's got really good gameplay. And it's another one you can twos up and co-op with your mates. I suppose I like this because it's got a kind of a bub and bobble element to it. Right, now the idea is you've got to collect all the flowers to finish a level, or all the baddies. Kill all the baddies off, which you catch in your little magic wand and then spank them into the floor, and they generally turn into weapons. So that level, got rid of all the baddies, so we move on to the next one. So you've got your weapon for spanking the bejesus out of them, or you haven't got to jump in this, you can create a ladder and go upwards. the flowers, you get the extra game come up like that. And then you basically turn them into the letters to spell out extra. Like that. You got to pick them up bloody quick though. And this game is nauseatingly cute. But there's something about this game that's so playable that I don't find it as bad as the others, but I'm not going to argue it's not nauseatingly cute. I've always quite liked the background graphics and that in this as you move up the tower and that. Oh, those things can still kill you, by the way. Even when you're in the extra game. There's also a stripped down yet really, really good version of this on the Commodore 64 as well. Bloody sharks shoot at you. Yeah, as cute as that is, I find that to be a really good game. I don't know. Obviously, I'm fickle or something when it comes to cute games, but jumping on the Amiga, this version come out from Storm in 1991. This is another, what I consider to be 99% arcade perfect. And it's just as nauseatingly cute as the arcade version. Well, they've done all the cutscenes properly, although they did correct the spelling from the other cutscene. Well, they go on about the fairy is tower rather than the fairies tower. But as you can see, they've got the sound right, they've got the look right. Maybe colours are toned down a little bit. That is literally the arcade version in the home. The music's spot on, background graphics are spot on. It's got the same kind of I don't know, deluxe paint stripes on the trees. They've absolutely nailed it. But if you don't like cute games, this ain't one for you. Let's just say I don't expect to ever see Chris Lukozer playing this game. In fact, I think he'll have trouble making it all the way through this video. Finally managed to use a weapon. quite got the same parallax scrolling that the arcade has when it moves up and down the levels. Them sharks, when they shoot at you, they kind of go right across the screen, so you've really got to watch out for them bullets coming down the screen at you. Yeah, like that. Anyway, graphically and sonically, this is as close as you're going to get, other than playing it in main. Yeah, I'm as shocked as anyone that I don't dislike that game greatly. So let's have a look at them together. The Amiga version is, well, it's more vivid, but you can see what I mean about like the brush strokes in the background. I don't know if they digitised that or if they redrew it or what they did with it, but it is it's fairly spot on. If anything, I'd say the Amiga one looks slightly better than the arcade one. Now this is a nauseatingly cute game with pieces of cake and sweets and cute little dragons and that I don't hate, because this is a classic. And Bubble Bobble came to the arcades from Taito in 1986, and I'm fairly certain there's not really a bad port of this. I mean, the Spectrum one lacked a bit of colour, and the 64 one was a bit blocky, but they still played well. I mean, the first time I played this game was on a Commodore 64. But this is a great game. If you're good enough at this game, it lasts a while as well. As long as you don't use any of the level skips. There is actually, if I remember correctly, 100 levels to this game. So if you've stuck 10p in an arcade machine and you're good at Bubble Bobble, you can really get your money's worth. That's 10p in old money, obviously, because it'd probably be £1 now. I was surprised at how well I'm remembering the kind of the patterns that everything jumps in, because you get all them together, it's about 32,000. Yeah, there you go, 32,000 points. This is a great game for score chasing. That's what you want, one of them sweets. Because what that does is I can fire a bit further now. I'll catch him in the water. Okay, pick up them sweets and they give you different power-ups. But graphically it is overly saccharine saturated cutesiness with your derpy little dragons and their eyes, but it's still it's a good game. That's what the firepower you get from picking up your bonus sweets. I seem to be a lot better at this game than I remembered, but I did used to play it quite a lot. Mostly, well, like I said, I started on the 64 and I used to play it a lot on my Amiga. And this is one where they pretty much got all the levels spot on. That'll be an extra life. And picking up all of the letters. If I'm honest, not having played the arcade one that much, I would have thought the arcade version would have been more difficult than what it is. That was silly. Yeah, so was that. We're jumping across to the good old Amiga. And this version come out in 1988 from Firebird. They've done an absolutely outstanding job on this, from the David Whittaker music, you know, throughout the whole of the game. Absolutely nailed it. The frame rate's down a little bit. But all the little tricks are there for making extra points. And graphically, it's fairly close as well. All the level layouts, as far as I can tell. I mean, I do. From what I remember, it's an identical level layout. You know, placements of the baddies. You'd have thought a gold cup would be worth more than 100 points, wouldn't you? Gold cup's worth less than a bunch of bananas. Moving on to level 3. Yeah, you can see this is the same layout in the levels as the arcade version we've just seen. Extra life already. notice that it doesn't put the massive scores up when you jump into a big bunch of baddies that are bubbled up like that. You know, if you're a fan of Bubble Bobble and you got this for the Amiga, there's no way you wouldn't be happy with it. It's so close to the arcade, which is the point of this video. Watch out for them little whizzly things that fire biscuits at you. Well, they look like biscuits to me anyway. It would appear I'm a lot better at Bubble Bobble than I remember. You know, it's not a game I've played for ages, but I just remember the layouts and where to stand and that. It's been a long while since I've been all the way through it though. But I've only ever done that once and in co-op. Moving on to level 9. This is a more tricky level because obviously they can all fire at you unless you catch them all like that. Definitely got the levels spot on here. Although the one thing I have noticed about this level on the Amiga is instead of the bubbles like going red to signify the baddies are going to come out because they're angry, they just tend to shake a bit rather than change colour. So it's something you've got to notice more rather than sort of like a visual colour change. But yeah, this is a perfectly acceptable version of this game. In fact, I would say out of all of them that we've looked at, this is possibly the most arcade perfect out of the lot of them. It's always handy to get one of them. Always handy to pick up a cheeky 28 grand as well. Tricky level. Since there's no real set pattern for them. I'll tell you what though, we'll have that. At the bottom, at the bottom. There we go, lovely. That'll do. I think I'm going to get quite so many of the points here though. Oh, there's no point even trying for them. How more cutesy do you want to get than a big love heart made of love hearts? I mean, the levels do get more difficult as it goes on. Because obviously you've got to get in there because they can't get out. You know, of course, once the you get the old hurry up thing come on, they start zooming around in there like nutters. On the Amiga. Let's have a look at them side by side. And yeah, as usual with a lot of these ports, the colours are slightly different, and you know, there's a better frame rate on the arcade. I mean, the arcade, you know, it runs at 60 frames a second. At least that's what it looks like to me. And the Amiga's no slouch, it's just not quite as buttery smooth in its movement. And that's my look at some nauseatingly cute arcade ports on the Amiga. I would imagine I am going to drift away from the Amiga and go back to the Commodore 64 for the next video I have in mind. But before that happens, we need to have a nice look at all of these all running together on the screen at once. Yeah, you can see there how much smoother the arcade ones tend to be, but it doesn't detract from what a good job, you know, all the programmers and musicians done on the Amiga ones, because they are really, really good versions. I might not like them all, but I'm not going to deny that they're not good games, or at least good conversions. So that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Laters.